Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the brand new L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation. When I saw this at the drugstore, I immediately picked it up because it looked really similar to my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. And if you guys have seen any of my previous videos, you know how much I love this foundation. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite foundations of all time. So I freaked out a little bit because the packaging looked really similar and I wasn't sure if they were reformulating it or if this was going to be replacing the Infallible Pro Matte Foundation, but I picked it up anyway, and I've been wearing this now for a little over a week, and I can definitely say that the formulation is totally different. So they're two different foundations. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a review and just kind of giving you guys my thoughts on this foundation, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to do a demo and show you how I apply it with the rest of my makeup. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to talk about the color range of this foundation and my experience with trying to find the right shade because it was actually very challenging. The Pro Matte Foundation and the Total Cover Foundation are not comparable as far as the color system. In the Pro Matte, I'm a 107 Fresh Beige, and I could not find a Fresh Beige or the same number in this foundation. I'm a 308 Sun Beige, and this was the closest shade to this shade, which is, this is like my perfect shade. So I'm just going to start off with the claims of this foundation. On the back of this tube, it tells you kind of everything that you need to know. So it's a natural finish, a 24-hour wear, high complete coverage, and the texture is air light. So as far as the finish of the foundation, it claims to be a natural finish, which I completely agree with. It's definitely not a mattifying finish, nor is it a dewy, luminous, hydrating finish either. I think it's just right in the middle, satisfies everyone's skin type, and it's definitely a natural satin finish. Claims to be a 24-hour finish, and honestly I can't really attest to that because I don't keep my foundation on that long, and you shouldn't either. But yeah, 24 hours is a long time to keep your foundation on. But this foundation has definitely lasted me all day throughout a full work day, so 8 to 10 hours or however long you work. I have noticed that at the end of the day, my foundation is still intact. It still looks somewhat fresh, so I do really like that about it. As far as the coverage, this claims to be a full coverage, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I find this to be a true medium coverage foundation. So if you're someone that has blemishes, redness, acne scarring, any of that, you may need to do a second layer of this foundation, which I've been doing. As far as the texture of the foundation, it says that it's an air light texture, and I agree. The formula is very moussey and very lightweight. And if I can actually compare this to any high-end foundation, I would say that it's really comparable to the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo foundation. So if any of you guys have ever tried that foundation or own it, it looks exactly the same. However, the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo foundation has way more coverage. That is definitely a true full coverage foundation, whereas this one is more of a medium. So I was a little bit disappointed in the shade range because number one, I noticed that it was really lacking in the golden tones, and I didn't find a lot of the shades to have a yellow or a golden undertone. A lot of the shades had more of a beige or even pink undertone to them. You guys will see in this demo that this shade is not perfect for me, but I use a lot of other products to really make it work. And if you find yourself in the same hole, hopefully my tips on how to apply this foundation can really help you. So I'm going to go ahead and start the demo now, so go ahead and keep watching. Alright, so I've already applied my primer, and today I'm using my current favorite, the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Primer. When it comes to using a drugstore foundation, it's really important to have a good primer to use with it. To me, the key to making a drugstore foundation look really good is to incorporate your other high-end products with it, and no one's going to be able to tell whether you're wearing an Armani foundation or a L'Oreal foundation. To apply my foundation, I'm going to be using the Zoeva 102 Silk Finish brush. I've been obsessed with this brush lately. It's a full coverage foundation brush, and I find that it works really well with this foundation. So as always, I'm just going to apply a little bit on the back of my hand. And using my hand as a palette, I'm just going to pick up the foundation and start applying it in my cheek area. I always start in this area because it's where I have the most redness, the most acne scarring, the most blemishes, and then from there I really just kind of fan it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do one side of my face so you guys can see the difference with the coverage on this side compared to this side. Alright, so for one, the coverage is not perfect. I can definitely still see redness and blemishes in this area. It is a little bit more covered compared to this side, but I feel like you can still see it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so this is with one layer. And the coverage, like I said, is not bad, but I can still see blemishes. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with a second layer of this foundation. So I'm only going to concentrate the second layer on my cheek area. I don't want to do a full entire face because this is really just where I need coverage. And I'm definitely getting better coverage with this second layer here. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the shade is definitely lighter than my neck area. And that's my only problem really with this foundation, is that the shade range is not perfect. And I could not find one that was comparable to my Infallible Pro Matte foundation, but we're gonna work with this. So because this doesn't match me perfectly, I am also gonna bring it down all the way to my neck. All right, so foundation is done, and I'm really happy with the coverage. I think it looks really good, especially after doing a second layer. This foundation is not totally off, it's just a little bit lighter than my skin tone. So my forehead is darker than the rest of my face. So when I choose a foundation, I always match it to my forehead as opposed to my face. In this case, it matches my face a little bit more and my forehead just looks really ashy. So we're gonna go in with bronzer. So I'm gonna take my Dior Bronzer and a big powder brush. This is actually a contour brush, but you can take a big powder brush. And I'm just gonna apply the bronzer everywhere on my whole entire face. This is just my opinion, but I think everyone looks better when they're bronzy and tan. All right, you guys, so this is the final result and I'm really happy with it. I like the coverage a lot. And I did use a lot of my other high-end products on top of the foundation, and I feel like it really just put the whole look together. So I did use some translucent powder, blush, highlighter, bronzer, lots and lots of bronzer, and this Mario Badescu facial spray, which I feel like just really tightened the whole look. So overall, there were a lot more pros than cons for this foundation for me. I would say the pros are that it's long lasting, it gives great coverage, I like the formulation a lot, it's very lightweight and doesn't feel heavy on the skin. I also like the fact that this foundation is affordable, so if I don't feel like spending $50 on a foundation, I know that I can run to the drugstore and this can work for me. The only con that I really had about this foundation, and it's kind of important, is the color range. I feel like they're definitely lacking with golden shades, and also noticed that there weren't too many options for deeper skin tones. If they could just improve the shade range, I think that this foundation would be like a 10 out of 10. So overall, I do like this foundation, but I don't love it. I definitely don't love it as much as my Infallible Pro Matte foundation. That's still my number one, but I do find that it works and I'm pretty happy with it for the most part. Alright, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this review of the L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation. If you guys do happen to pick up this foundation, definitely let me know what you guys think. Or if you have any other questions about this foundation that I didn't exactly cover in this video, definitely let me know in the comments below and I will get back to you guys on that. Other than that, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!